Hello, my name is Don Harkey from Galt Consulting, and I want to talk to you a little bit about success. I want to show you a model called the Success Model in this Passion is Productive mini training series. Success. You've heard a lot about it. What causes it? What causes it for a company? What causes it for individuals? Turns out there's some patterns that are out there that are pretty exciting that I'm going to spend the next 5 minutes showing you. Let's start with a historic business book called Good to Great, published in 2001 by Jim Collins. Jim Collins and his staff did a historic study. They reviewed over 1,400 different companies between 1965 and 1995. And what they were looking for were companies that made a transition. This transition is very important. During this transition, they went from being good to being great. And they defined great as companies that really outpaced their competition within their market over a span of about 15 years. Companies such as Southwest Airlines and Berkshire Hathaway, who had been successful during that entire period or never made that transition, weren't looked at because what they did next was really important. They looked at the companies during the transition periods and they asked them what was going on that made this transition, and they looked for patterns. The things they found were incredibly exciting. The three success factors Jim Collins calls the hedgehog concept. Great companies know three things about themselves. Number one, they know what they are passionate about. Number two, they know what they are best at. And number three, they know what drives their economic engine. For a business study, this is revolutionary. What does passion have to do with business? We're going to talk a little bit more about that. But in Jim Collins' study, he found that these great businesses truly are passionate about what it is that they do. Best at. Boy, the best at. That's a very high bar to set. If you're going to be a pharmaceutical company, is it realistic that you're going to be the best pharmaceutical company? This requires a real honest look inside of your organization to discover what it is that you can do better than anyone else. A good friend of mine, Brett Curry, Curry Marketing, as a marketing strategist, always talks about a unique selling proposition. I like to call it a unique value proposition. What is it that you can provide your clients that no one else can? The third part, the economic engine. Passion is great. Passion is very important. Being the best at something, also very important. But what's really important for those two things to work is that it drives resources back to you. In other words, the market finds value in it. What drives your economic engine? Jim Collins talks about this as a dollars per what? Is it a dollars per customer, a dollars per product, a dollars per new market that you opened up? Understanding what it is that drives resources to you is critical in being successful. One comment I want to make about the Good to Great study. Good to Great was famous for highlighting several different companies, including companies like Circuit City and Fannie Mae, who have since fallen on some hard times. Jim Collins actually wrote a follow-up book called How the Mighty Fall. Companies can make that transition to being great, but they can also lose it too. Here's a generic process, and you can think about this for a company or for an individual. Let's walk through that. If you know what you are passionate about, and you know what you are good at, and you find a way to bring value for others, and you find a way to tell people about it, and then you do it, and you continuously make it better by listening to what the people tell you and learning from what you're good at, you will find success. This process I call the success model. Success just runs in a circle, doing this continuously over and over and over again. If we look at the Jim Collins study, we can change a couple of these things to make it fit how companies are successful. You can be the best at something in how you provide a unique value to the market. I know what you're thinking. Passion. That sounds like a fuzzy concept. Aww. Business. That's more formal, right? Humph. Well, passion is very productive. This is Ron Spiegelman. Do you think he's good at conducting the symphony that he's working with here? And this is the office of John Lasseter at Pixar. Remember that passion is truly productive.